Long way. Get this shit a long way. Get this shit a long way. Long way. Hit it long way. 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 Get this shit a long way. Get this shit a long way. Long way. Long way. Long way. Long way. Long way. Get this shit a long way. Gotta 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 know this shit, don't really understand, man. Gotta know this shit, don't really understand, man. Gotta get a mirror, shit, don't understand, shit. She be trippin' every day, she be trippin' every way. But I gotta get this shit a long way. Tryna get money every single way. Tryna get money every single day, get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, every day we gotta get paid, I'm feeling like we be the new slave, No, we gotta finish rich, no, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand rich. She don't understand, she's gotta get rich. She don't understand, sometimes we gotta hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit, tryna get the long way, tryna get this shit the long way, Coach is tryna wrap up a entree. Told you the other day that did my phone strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, get this shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a long way. My name is Atari, and I playing games up to the Atari. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, I said fuck it, bitch, we gonna get some money. I said fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I went and got some money, Cause we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get shit the long way, back and forth like the pong way, Man, I'ma get this shit the long way, get this shit the long way, just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. We gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay for me, So we gon' get this shit the long way, 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 we get shit the long way, cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, we gon' get the long way,
Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. I'm your host, LJ Young, the founder of SMD. Welcome. Let me clear some things up here. That's all for you guys that are new to the channel. And what's up, Andre? And what I do, I'm just summing it up more and more now, is that I understand that capitalism is psychological. I just like to get straight to the point. I understand that capitalism is psychological. And you guys, debt slaves, you guys are the currency. It's you. Like when you see gold, silver, paper dollars, diamonds, whatever, it really doesn't mean anything because it's you. Because each one of those different types of currencies, the value of that currency is determined by who is holding it at the time. Okay, that's what it means. It's like if you hold a 20, the value of that 20 is really determined at the time because you're physically holding it, the value of it right there at that moment. But you don't know that because you are the currency. Now, if you're new to the channel, you're probably thinking, well, what does that mean? I am the currency, right? So if you open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals a large negative number, that means you are the currency. You. What makes you the currency? Because you think you bought a house with no money. So that makes you the currency. Do you see? Now, everything I'm saying is 100% true. You know why? Because I can prove it with mathematics. And guess what? Mathematics is never wrong, ever, ever. And if you don't agree with mathematics, you have a psychological problem. Do you understand? It's like if I said, hey, 1 + 1 = 3. everybody that was looking at me, everybody standing, said like I was up on a stage in front of like 100,000 people. Okay. And I said, "Hey, everybody, 1 + 1 = 3." Everybody would think I have a psychological problem because that's clearly not true. So that means I have a problem. Okay. That's the same thing for you guys when you guys think you buy houses with no money. Now, with this knowledge, also, I want to make sure this is crystal clear. Crystal. There is no other channel like this one on the internet. Do you understand me? All over the world, there is no other channel like this one. Not just YouTube, on the internet. I want to make sure that's clear. I can prove that too. Okay. Just make sure. Remember, everything I say, I can prove. Now, understanding, okay, I'm gonna give it to you from my perspective, which is fact, which is mathematical fact, by the way. So when I see the news and hear you guys talking about the $10,000 forgiveness, how do you apply and how do I get it? Well, what you guys don't know, the 10,000 really doesn't mean anything because it's you. You're the currency. It's you. You're not getting 10,000 off of nothing just because it doesn't exist. Because it's you. So, but here, let me give you like a physical perspective of why it means nothing. Okay. And when I say physical, I mean mathematical. That's the way I can translate it from psychological capitalism to you. So say like you've had $100,000 in student loan. No, let's go 50, okay, just to make sure it kind of hits more people at home. Say like you've had $50,000 in student loan debt for like 10, 15 years. Okay, 10 or 15 years. Now the president forgives 10,000 of that. Say like he did 40. Now you're down to 40. If you haven't paid the $50,000 in 10 years, you're not going to pay the $40,000 either. Okay, you're not. All right. So trillions of dollars in student loan debt accumulates interest pretty damn fast. So the 10,000 that they're giving you or whatever, forgiving, whatever, I don't care. I don't really care what they call it. It's just business. I don't care. I'm not against it or for it or whatever. It just is what it is, right? They're going to get that back in interest in probably a couple of years. So you guys get the illusion of some kind of forgiveness, something. Hey, it's just business though. I don't care. Let me make sure everybody's clear. I don't care how they do it. That's none of my business because I don't have student loan debt. So I don't care what they do, how they do it, what they forgive, what they don't, because I know it doesn't matter. Why it doesn't matter? It's the same people that have FHA mortgages. When their student loan, your student loan debt is older than your FHA mortgage, and some of you, and then you're excited about the $10,000. What this also is going to do too? Let me explain something, okay? All of you guys that have been running and hiding from your student loan debt, if you want that 10,000, you got to come to them. So that means you got to reveal where you've been hiding and what you've been doing. Do you understand? That's how it works. Okay. That's nothing's wrong with it. Whatever. I don't care how they get you guys out from hiding. I don't care. It's always money though, because you guys haven't. It's always money because you are the money. You guys see the reason why you guys even look at 10,000 like a lot of money because you've never had that in your life. That's why you think it's a lot. The majority of you have never in your life seen $10,000 in cash in front of you. Never. Know why? Because you are the currency. It's you. You ever be in a nice city like San Francisco or something? You see a really nice bank and they got this big old ginormous safe inside of that bank. And you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, they must keep some pretty important stuff in there. No, you know what they keep in there? You. It's they probably have hundreds of thousands of hard drives in there or something that keeping track of all you debt slaves, all you guys, all your information, where you think, because all of you guys think you own homes and cars and had no money to buy anything because you guys are debt slaves. You have no money. You guys don't know the $10,000 forgiveness is an illusion. And I don't care that you. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just that's how it's supposed to. Listen, without you, let me make it better. Without you, there could be no housing market. Do you understand? It could not. It could not exist. I don't want that. I'm not here, and let's make sure it's clear because you debt slaves, you guys get things so confused. I am not here to change the system. I'm just here to show you how to use it right. That's all. Now that I understand capitalism is psychological, oh yeah, this has been here for centuries. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this has been in place for a very, very long time, very long time. Any longer than any of you guys listening to this podcast right now, guaranteed. Oh, that's why that's there. Oh, that's why they believe they're getting 10,000. Or 20. You said 10 or 20? Oh, it sounds better. Yeah, I guess. It's like and then you hear, and check this out. And now remember, you guys don't know people like us exist. Okay. So when we listen to you guys speak, you don't know that we're listening to you or how we're listening to you. They say, hey, yeah, 10,000 if you make 125,000 or less. And here you got these six-figure earners. Listen, six-figure debt slave earners complaining because they can't get no forgiveness. What are you talking about? You make six figures, pay the shit off yourself. That's why they put a limit on it. If you're making well over $125,000 a year and you can't pay your student loan debt off, that's your problem. That's your problem. If you're a doctor right now and you have say like you have a $500,000 in student loan debt, but you make $300,000 a year, that makes absolutely no sense. Of course, the government is going to say, pay your own student loan debt off, idiot. It's hilarious, man. And you guys be saying that stuff out loud on podcasts. Hey, they should do this. They should do that. No, you should do it. You should look in the mirror and you should do it because that's the only way. Let me explain something to you, debt slaves. Okay. You are the only one that can get yourself out of student loan debt. Let's make sure that's clear. You. There is no other way. Stop thinking there is. Stop hanging around people that think student loan forgiveness is going to happen like the president's going to say, hey, goodbye to all student loan debt. Let me explain something to you, debt slave. That's never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. The only way to get out is you. $10,000 to get you debt slaves that have been hiding from your student loan debt for years and years and years and working under other social security numbers, all the wrong moves, all wrong. Here you got these debt slaves working under the wrong social security number. Do you have any idea what you're doing to yourself when you do that? Do you know? You obviously don't know. You're invisible at that moment. When you start doing shit like that, you're invisible to the financial system. Yes, you are. You think you're making paper, or, you're working or you're doing whatever you're doing under an alias that's not you. You're invisible. Instead of figuring out the cause and reason why you can't use your own social security number, it's just bananas what you debt slaves do. Oh, hey, what's these new CPNs? People that are looking at that is because they ruined their SSN. People that look at these alternative social security numbers or whatever you fuck you want to call them, right? Those are the people that have ruined their SSN. That's why they're looking at CPNs. And then you got the financial scammers that take full advantage of you debt slaves. They just take you know what? It's so bad. Just to see them, just to see how financial scammers do you guys. They be doing you guys bad too. The most of the credit fixers and people, the purpose there is they know you don't want to pay the debts that you created. So you believe you pay these people to think they're going to somehow magically remove all your debt and you get to start all over, or whatever you believe, they're going to sell it to you. The only way out is yourself. Hey, listen, if you got, say like you have $50,000 in student loan debt and you're looking, and I'm gonna tell you the psychological part, the part you can't see. If you believe, no, let's do it better yet. If you believe in your mind, you don't even have to answer nobody. You just say it to you, just ask yourself this question. Do I believe I will ever pay off my student loan debt? You got to say that to yourself. And if the answer returns no, you are in big trouble. I'm gonna just tell you, if the answer returns no, you're listening to the wrong voice in your head. That's the wrong voice. That's not the right voice. If you hear no, that means it's gonna tell your mind and then tell your subconscious, and then you're gonna live like that, paying student loan debt your entire fucking life. Thinking it's okay to get on student loan forgiveness program for 25 years of your life? Forced to work at places that you know you don't want to work. You don't want to work there, but hey, you're trying to get that student loan forgiveness for 10 years. They're going to give me that. Hey, what's your income potential? It's very limited right here. I only can make this much here at this job. Then they make up some stupid long program that it takes all these steps to reach this certain amount. And in 15 years, you'll be at step 5, 6 and make it. No, that's no. Like when you sign up for one of those programs, do you know what you're saying? Not only to the government, do you know what you're saying to yourself? I don't believe in myself that I'm going to ever pay you back your money, government. So I'm going to sign up for this 25-year program. That's exactly what it tells them, that you're not ever. But that's not a bad thing, okay? That's just how it works. It's all about you believing in yourself. That's all. When you're free, you don't really pay attention to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness because it doesn't concern me. Because I don't have student debt. I don't care what's happening. I don't care what. Know why I don't care? Because I paid off my student loan debt. That's why I don't care. Now, let me make sure it's clear to you guys with student loan debt so you guys understand that. I want to make sure you guys really understand that I just didn't wake up one day because I kept my student loan debt for 10 years. Sure did. 10 years. Now, I didn't wake up one day and say, hey, man, maybe it's a bad idea to keep this student loan debt. It really didn't happen that way when I was getting out of debt. I didn't really know what I achieved until I paid off my student loan debt. That's when I realized what I had done. Then I started looking at like, wait a minute, there's trillions of dollars in student. That's millions of people, millions. And I paid mine off. That means I'm no longer part of that. Nope, no longer part of that nightmare. That financial chaos. No. Now, I'm on the good side of what looks like financial chaos, student loan debt problems, and it's tearing up America, whatever. Hey, whatever. Everybody put themselves there. So you got to get yourself out. You are the only one that can get yourself out of that. You. Now, if you're new to the channel, if you ever want to know what I'm talking about, to ever understand what I'm saying, if you come to this channel, you're like, hey, what the hell is he talking about? Just understand this, okay? Everything I'm saying is mathematically correct. And I can, now listen to me closely. I can show you even on your own calculator. Now, if you choose, like, imagine this, okay? This is a good example, okay? I want you guys to, we're gonna do this together. Those of you guys that believe you're homeowners with mortgages. Now imagine you and I are standing next to each other, looking at the calculator on your phone. Okay, we opened up the calculator app on your phone, and then I'm looking at you. I'm asking you, hey man, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and then hit equal. Now we are both, you and I, imagine you and I are both looking at this large negative number on this calculator. And then I turn to you and say, do you still believe you're a homeowner? If you say yes, that means you have a psychological problem, because we're both looking at this negative number, and we both know that negative numbers mean you own nothing. That means you are a loan owner, not a homeowner. That's what the calculator says. Now, if you don't believe what the calculator says, you have a psychological problem. Do you understand? That's how, that's what I mean. That's what it means, you have a psychological problem. So if you think, say like this, say like you saved up $20,000 for a down payment on a home. Okay, say like that. Say like you saved up $20,000 for a down payment on your first house, but you have $50,000 in student loan debt. Okay. So if you open up the calculator, put in 20,000 minus 50,000 equals what? Negative 30,000. Negative. So the calculator is saying, hey, you don't have $20,000 to put down on a house because you are negative $30,000 in the hole. Now, again, say like we're both looking at the calculator. Now, if you choose to believe you still have $20,000 for a down payment on a house because you see it in your bank account, though the calculator is clearly showing you that you do not, that means you have a psychological problem, because you think you can put negative $30,000 down on a house. That makes you have a psychological problem because you can't. The bank, a person, they're not going to accept negative money from you. Even, you know what's crazy, Nick? I saw people, hey man, what about a refund? You know, when I hear people talk like that have been paying that actually paid their student loan debt off, what that tells me is that they don't really know what they did, because they wouldn't even be thinking about that money. They would not even be thinking about it. They would be just so happy that they are free from student loan debt. If they get it, great. If they don't, who cares? You're still out. You know what I'm saying? That's how I would think, right? But those are newly people that probably have paid off their student loan debt. They don't really understand the effect. They don't know what they've really done, because they wouldn't want to involve themselves back in that nonsense. It's just too much trouble. Just be happy you paid it off, and then you don't have to worry about what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, who's going to get what. These people at this age or this wage annual salary can't. Oh my God, it's just keep you guys just scrambling and looking and, oh my God, I can't believe they get to get this and we don't get to get that and they get to get 20,000. You know why you're saying all that? Because you're not paying off your student loan debt. Mad because you're not mad because you can't get more student loan debt forgiven, yet you're driving around in a brand new car that you're making payments on. That makes no sense, debt slaves. You can't be driving a brand new car with student loan debt older than the car, debt slaves. You can't do that. I can only imagine this 10,000, like, you guys that have it's just it's just fucked up, man. I ain't gonna lie. That's just like half you guys haven't even been paying your student loan debt. You guys got penalties and interest. I guarantee you most of that $10,000 is gonna be eaten up in that. It's gonna be like, hey, they're not gonna, I don't know. This is just my opinion. Do I think they're going to skip over all the interest and late fees that you already owe? Because they're going to start back up, right? Because that's going to eat right into that. And you probably have about $1,000 going to God. Oh man, debt slaves, man. I'm here. If you're tired of being a debt slave and being financially abused by, just not financially abused by the system, because you're financially abusing yourself. So the system's not doing anything to anybody. It's just there. You're just using it wrong. That's all. There's nothing more than that. But when I say financially abused, I'm saying financially abused by financial scammers. Okay. Like when you understand capitalism is psychological, financial scammers can no longer scam you. Do you understand? They can't. You're probably thinking, well, how come they can't? Because nobody can break the laws of mathematics. Nobody can break the laws of mathematics. That's how I know. And in order for a scammer to scam you, they have to break the laws of mathematics. And what I mean by that is promising you something that's not mathematically true. Okay? It's not. And what financial scammers are, debt slaves, that you guys don't know, they are just people that know a little bit more than you. That's all. They just know something that you don't know, and then they're just taking advantage of you over it. But ho when I say they're just debt slaves above you, they are, put it this way, when you understand capitalism is psychological, you also understand that time comes first. These are the orders of life. When you own yourself, time comes first, money comes second, and those orders never change, ever. Ever. Those are, if they ever change, you have a problem. Okay? Because you're putting something of less value over something that's more value at the time of your life. Nobody can give you more than that. You're not getting any more. That's it. So financial scammers are risking, like when they do that, those are financial crimes, usually federal. That means they're risking the time in their life for what? Money. So in their lives, money's number one, time is number two. That's how you can see that when you risk a time in your life, that means you're a debt slave. Only debt slaves do that. Debt slaves are the only ones that swap those two. Debt slaves only do that. So obviously you're a financial scammer. I mean, when you guys understand capitalism is psychological, you will clearly see financial scams make absolutely no sense at all. It's almost embarrassing what they do. The scams they do is just like, what? You really thought you was gonna give a person 500 and they was gonna give you back 10,000? You believe that? It just doesn't make, it makes no sense. The scams they do on you guys, just, it's just bananas. It's like, what? How do you, and, I get the emails, I get the text messages. I think to myself, people really fall for, hey, your bank account is in error. You need to send us your username. And my bank sent me a text about, and my bank sent me a text about that? Really? I'd be like, okay, well, if it didn't work, scammers wouldn't do it. They're not gonna. Hey, listen, scammers are not gonna keep doing something that's not gonna be working. So they're gonna do the things that work. And when this is the time. Put it this way, and it's messed up. I ain't gonna lie, it's messed up. Like when times get rough, scammers are high because they know you guys are running in fear. So they take advantage of that fear, thinking but right now you're just desperate for money. You'll do anything for money, and then that's when they step in and think you're going to get even more money for nothing. Hey, take this check, run it through your bank account, and I tell you what, it's like this. Hey, take this $10,000 check. Yeah, okay, put it in your bank account. You just have to give us 5, and you can keep the other 5. Really? I can just keep it? Yeah, you just give us the 5 in cash. Okay, 5,000 in cash. Okay, and then you guys fall for that shit. Really? And then when they put it on the news and shit, they be making it look like it was so sophisticated. Oh my God, look how they did it, and this and that. They were just no, they didn't. That's just basic scamming. Put it this way, scammers and people that do stuff like that, you guys have a pattern. Okay, first of all, you're just a debt slave and I want to put it so you guys really understand. You're a debt slave who's a scammer. That's all. You're not nothing special. You're not doing anything. You're only doing what your stuff only works on other debt slaves, not people that understand that capitalism is psychological, which makes you the currency debt slave. You're just a debt slave who's a scammer, which is even lower. Scamming other debt slaves doesn't make any sense, man. Now imagine how many of you guys are just desperate for student loan forgiveness. Guess what? Scammers gonna come right in there. Hey, we can do that. We can make your student loan debt disappear off your credit report and this and that and you guys believe it and you guys pay them. You guys pay them to take advantage of you because you guys are living in student loan debt fear. The only way you are ever getting out, you have to pay it off. So you're probably thinking, well, how am I supposed to make that much money? I don't know. You better figure it out unless you want to die a debt slave. Now you probably listen to this and you're probably thinking, you don't think it's a big deal to be a debt slave. If you've been a debt slave all your life, meaning if you've been in debt, personal debt all your life, that means you've been a debt slave the whole entire time. Didn't matter what kind of car you drove, what house you live in, you were just a debt slave. And you didn't know you were a debt slave, though. That's the problem. You guys are comfortable with being debt slaves because you don't know you're debt slaves. You don't know that you don't own that house. You don't know that you don't own that car. Obviously, if you're making payments, you obviously don't own it because you're making payments to the owner. Owners don't make payments. That's what makes them owners. Homeowners don't have mortgages. You guys see, now you hear me say that. You're like, what do you mean homeowners don't have mortgages? Loan owners have mortgages. See the difference? See how the sound is different? Loan owners, homeowners. If you are making mortgage payments, you are a loan owner. Now you don't even think about it this way, debt slave, so you guys can get it. You don't even think twice about when they say, "Hey, this mortgage is 30 years." You don't. I mean, now listen. Now, not talking about you because I financed a couple of houses when I was a debt slave, and I'm gonna just put myself back from understanding that capitalism is psychological. I'm putting myself back into the debt slave world right now, sitting down at a desk at some bank. I don't even know a bank that approved me. Sitting down, and then they're telling me about a 30-year mortgage. It didn't even click in my head. It's like, let me think about what time I was. I was around 36. Okay, 36. buying this house with no money. I was a complete debt slave, complete debt, everything, student loan debt, everything. I didn't even, when I'm sitting at that desk, I didn't say, hey, wait a minute. You mean I'm not going to get done paying this house off until I'm 66? That didn't even, listen, that didn't even pop in my head. Didn't even pop in my head. Okay. Also, sitting at the desk, they have this, you go to the bank or wherever you sign these papers, they drop this thick stack of paperwork in your face as they sit on the other side of the desk, expecting you to sign this paperwork right now. Now, I'm giving you guys 2020 vision of what I'm looking at. Okay. And then it didn't dawn on me and say, hey, wait a minute, Linnell, you don't know what's going on in that paperwork. You have no idea what they are saying inside of that paperwork. Hold on. I'm looking at this thick stack, and it was telling me sign here, initial here, sign here, initial here. All right now. Now I'm about to make a $300,000 deal with no lawyer. Now there is no way, listen, there is no way you would go to go buy a $300,000 business and not have a lawyer involved, but you won't have a lawyer. This is what I wish I could be standing there saying this to myself, but you're going to say, like, I'm standing next to myself, standing up above him, about to sign this paperwork, the old me. You about to sign all this paperwork out with no lawyer? And for you debt slaves, so you guys understand, the bank already knows you have no money. So guess what? You're not going to have any money for a lawyer. Okay. It just is what it is. Of course, you're not going to have money for a lawyer because you don't even have money to buy the house. That's why you're there. Listen, if you're at the bank to get some money, because that means you don't have the money to actually buy the house. So they're going to do it for you. And it's not your house until they get all their money back. That's what that paperwork says. But they got a lot of extras in there, I'm sure. But I wish somebody would say, hey, man, you don't know anything about it. I would have stand up to the person that's sitting at the other side of the desk. I'd be like, why are you sitting down? I'm not signing all this paperwork right here. Are you crazy? I don't know bank lingo, so I'm going to go hire a person that knows exactly what this paperwork means, and he's going to translate it to plain English and tell me if it's a good or bad deal. I wish I could have stood over myself. Hey, man, you ain't got no money? Hey, Linnell, yeah. A mortgage does not buy a house, Linnell. The only way to buy a house, Linnell, yeah, is cash. That's the only way to buy a house. Well, all my friends, they're doing it. They're talking about I'm throwing away money on rent and they're buying houses and properties. It doesn't matter what they're saying, Linnell. What they're saying makes absolutely no mathematical sense. If they go running on the freeway and play, are you going to do it too? No. Then why are you following people that have no idea what they're saying is mathematically incorrect? That's just like playing on you're going to play on the financial freeway, Linnell, and you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit to one day it's going to be too late. You're going to be too old to turn around and say, oh, damn, I've been doing it wrong. Yeah, too late when you're 75. I'm telling you, Nick, they probably those safes is probably where they keep all the hard drives, the keeping accounts of all the debt slaves. Because this is what sometimes I think. This is what I say. Where and what kind of facility must house the data for for credit reports? That data cannot be touched, messed with, hacked, nothing. Now there are smart people that might have done it, but guess what? Once they get caught, guess what? They're owned for life. Owned. You can't talk about nothing. You can't tell nobody what you did, or you're going to prison for the rest of your life. Which one you take? Can't mess with that. Ain't no money in those. It's like ain't no money in those bank vaults. That's movies, debt slaves. When you walk into a bank and see that big old vault with the big old turner and got to have 4 keys and a code and an eye retina scan, that's movies. There's nothing in there. Debt slaves, it's you. You're in there. Not physically, psychologically. You guys don't know you're debt slaves. You guys just don't know. And that's on purpose. That's by design. Capitalism has always been here. Just back in the day, you could physically see slaves. Okay, that's like, hey, that person's obviously a slave. You can see them. But today, you can't see you guys. You guys. It's all you guys, and it's psychological. It's not physical. That's the only difference. That's why. That's why. Now remember, I was born here, but that's why I respect it. That's why I totally respect the financial. Hey, this is the way we do it in America. Okay, well, all right. Let me figure it out. Thank God I have the privilege of figuring it out. Once you see, like for example, once I saw how it works, I think to myself, how long did that take? How long did that take? I sit back and think, how long did it take to get people to believe, not only believe that they can buy a house with a mortgage, make them believe it takes 30 years to pay it back. That takes a very, very long time to convince some people of that. It had to have taken a long time. It's the craziest thing, man. It's just bananas. You think, and I did this to my friends. I did this to my friends. I went to the government's website, right? And I said, how much does it cost to print $100 bill? And then when you go to the website, it says 17 cents. It cost them 17 cents at the time I looked, 17 cents to print a $100 bill. And I said to my friend, I said, hey man, so which is it worth, is it 100? Or is it what they're telling you they made it for? You gotta, now I told that to my friend. They didn't know how to answer that question. They're like, I don't know. I know you don't know. You know why? Because it's all psychological. It makes no sense, right? Right. Exactly. That means there's something there that you obviously can't see. Okay. That makes you like, hey, wait a minute. They took the government's website says we printed this for 17 cents. Yeah. Then how come I believe it's 100? I don't know. How come? All you gotta do is answer that question. That's when you see the things that don't make sense, there's something there that you don't understand. That's it. Nothing personal. It's just business. And I always like to use this example so death slaves, you guys can get it. The things that don't make sense are clues. Well, you see Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey says, hey, when you pay off all your debt, you pay off all your debt except the mortgage. And then when you get the baby step, bloggity blah, you start putting away 15% in retirement. But there's a clue. Wait a minute, hold up. If you have a mortgage, you can't put 15% of anything anywhere because you have no money. Your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals a large negative number. That means you have no money at all. None. Zero. None. That's called business. Then they'd send you over here to talk to a pro that can help you do it and blah, blah, blah. Hey, whatever. Hey, if you believe that, that's totally up to you. But hey, that's just called business. Nothing personal, nothing bad about it, nothing. But I'm just here to show you something when you understand that capitalism is psychological. That's how it works. That's how business works. Most definitely, Nick. It is an operating system, and it's very well made. Very well. I have full respect for it. Full. I just be like, how did you? Oh, why is that? Hmm. Okay. You start putting all the pieces together like a puzzle. You're like, that's why that is that. Oh God, that's why they do this, makes it do that. And just that's why they believe it just okay. And all of it's mathematically true. That's going to be the hard part, because if you've been raised in the program and you it's a masterpiece. It is. Excuse me. And you got to think to yourself, and you got to be honest with yourself. If you have your feelings wrapped up in the 10,000, you wish it was more. How come they're not paying off the whole debt? And then you start getting on social media and start looking for like-minded people like you, and you guys crowds get bigger and bigger and bigger. Hey, let's do a stance, and let's all not pay our student loan payments. When you get with people like that, let me tell you something. You are only hurting yourself. When you don't make student loan payments, that's more money for the holders of the money. That's called interest. If you don't pay, it's not going anywhere. You don't pay your student loan debt, that's on you. But guess what? You're going to be paying student loan debt your entire life. Now, if you're listening to me and you don't think it's a big deal, that's a red flag. You're listening to the wrong voice in your head. You're hanging around the wrong friends. When you hear people say, "Hey," like Dave Ramsey says, call the student loan debt a pet and make it a pet and do it like it's not a big deal. It's okay to have student loan debt older than your mortgage. You're hanging around the wrong people. Those are debt slaves you're talking to. Those are debt slaves telling you, "Hey, stop throwing away money on rent." You don't know, as a debt slave, you don't know to turn to them and say, "Do you have a mortgage?" If they say yes, they have no idea what they're talking about, because they believe a mortgage is not rent. You got to remember that. People, you got to really understand this. People with mortgages do not know they're renting from the bank. They don't know, because it's called they just renamed rent to mortgage. Don't call it rent, call it a mortgage. Now you got thousands of people telling you guys, debt slaves, you guys don't even know. Stop throwing away your money on rent. Well, I'm not. I have a place to live. It's like when you hear people, you don't know to listen to debt slaves differently. Okay. I'm not throwing away money on rent. I have a roof over my head and all the utilities are fixed by the landlord. Rent is an expense. Do you know a place I can live for free? Of course I have to use money to live somewhere. That's an expense. That's not throwing away. Rent is not. And when you hear people compare those two, those are debt slaves, because there is no comparison of the two. Rent is an expense. Mortgage is debt. So those of you that probably hear that statement, I always try to do it mathematically so you can understand it better. Say like you are a person that is confused and they start really feeling like you're throwing away money on rent. Okay. I'm gonna use this example so you can understand. So say like you and a friend live next door to each other in the same apartment complex, paying $1,000 a month for rent. Now, don't calculate where I live. That's cheap. Just follow the math. Okay. Then all of a sudden, one of you starts to listen to other people with mortgages talking about you're throwing away money on rent. Now, at this time, you just pretend you guys have no other debts. You have no car payments, nothing, no credit card, nothing. The only thing you're doing is a job and you're paying rent. Okay. Now you come across a person that says, "Hey, you're throwing away money on rent." Your friend, not you, your friend, and say like when they get a mortgage, their mortgage is going to be $500 a month. Okay, $500 a month. Now, but the house that they're mortgaging is $300,000. $300,000. but you stay at the apartment. Now, this person that moved out of the apartment, got a mortgage, they're going to turn to you and say, hey, I now own my property and I'm paying less than you per month. But what they're missing to tell you is that they are also $300,000 in the negative, while you are still on the positive because you have no debt. You're renting. You're just $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, but you have no debt. The person that put themselves in $300,000 of debt think they're ahead of you, but according to the calculator, they're not. And the calculator is the only thing that matters. Now, the person that's $300,000 in debt is responsible for any and all utilities failing in the apartment or in the house, and the plumbing goes out and it needs a new roof and this and that. They're responsible for it all. So guess what? Since they didn't have no money for the house, guess what they're going to be doing for the repairs? Borrowing even more money, believing they are homeowners the whole time, while you, as a renter, if the refrigerator goes out, you make a phone call and the landlord comes and fixes it or replaces it. Your central air unit go out in your place, guess what? Call the landlord. He's going to come fix it. Sink get clogged up, some plumbing underneath the apartment or whatever. Guess who's going to fix it? The landlord. That's not I'm not throwing away nothing for that. That sounds great. Call me when it's done. No bill. So if that's you, and especially if you're a young adult and you're hearing that a lot, hey, stop throwing away money on rent. You got to turn to them and say, do you have a mortgage? Yeah, you're listening to the wrong person. Don't listen to them. They don't know that they're renters. Okay, that's the psychological part about psychological capitalism. People with student loans, listen. Okay, listen to it this way. If banks say, like, you go get a mortgage, right? You go get a mortgage, and then you have student loan debt. What if banks denied everybody with student loan debt a mortgage? Guess what? That would hurt the housing market. You can't do that. People with student loan debt don't know they have no money, therefore it would affect the housing market. That can't happen. When they say, hey, come get a house, zero down mortgage, and we have a down payment assistance, man. When you hear an ad that offers down payment assistance, they're going to charge you interest on the down payment because you don't have the money to even, man, you don't know to listen. When you're a debt slave, that's why it's attractive. That's why zero down home loans, down payment assistance programs for the house, that's why they're attractive to you, because you're a debt slave, because you have no money. It's you're the money. Now, if you just popped in, you probably think, what do you mean I'm the money? I always have to show you on your own calculator. Open up the calculator app, put in your car payment minus your car balance equals you are the money. See that large negative number? You're the money. Why? Because you thought you could buy the car you're driving today with the amount of money that you see on your calculator right now. Now, let's go over that one more time, because I know that confuses a lot of debt slaves. You are the money. You. Open up the calculator app on your phone, put in your car payment minus your car balance equals you are the money. Why are you the money? Because you thought you could buy a car with the amount of money that you see on your calculator right now. That makes you the money. That's how it works. That's how it works. Now, now I hate to break up for a second, but this person right here, the 606, man, I have, I come across some, but debt slaves like this one, they don't know why they can't leave my channel. They will go through and watch every single video and comment on the every. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a moron. You're stupid. I'm thinking, how much time in your life are you wasting right now telling a person that you don't like them instead of just not going back to the site? It's just bananas. It's like, wow. I mean, you're just here because you're mad about mathematics. Now you got to remember, I don't really take people like this personally because I know they're not mad at me. They're mad at math. That's all. They're not mad at me. They're mad at mathematics. And that's why I always say, I didn't invent math, right? It was here before I was born, and it'll be here after I'm dead. It's just bananas. You said, what about the equity, LJ? See? Debt slaves, I got some bad news for you. Okay, bad news. Equity is just a word. It's not money. That equity, appreciation, mortgage, those are words. Here we go. For those of you that believe you have equity in your house while having a mortgage. Now, you guys don't know you cannot have equity and a mortgage at the same time. You can't. That goes against the laws of mathematics, okay? Open up the calculator app on your phone. Enter your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals you are the equity. That's what that says. Because you believe you have equity in a house that you didn't have the money to buy. What we're looking at on the calculator right now, that's how much money you had to buy the house that you're living in today. So that means that's your equity right there. That's it. All you got to do is just put a mirror over your calculator, get a mirror, put it over. It's the same thing. You look, put it this way. So like you have a mirror in one hand, the calculator app on the other, and you see that large negative number. That's you, okay? Put the mirror over there. That's you too. It's the same thing. Same thing. If they denied mortgages for people with student loan debt, the housing market wouldn't exist. Do you guys get that? When you walk into the bank with student loan debt older than your children, asking for a mortgage, the bank's going to financially abuse you. Do you understand? Because people that go to college for 3 or 4 years and keep their student loans for 15, and they walk into the bank and ask for a 30. If you haven't paid off your student loan debt in 15 years, you're not going to pay a house off in 30. You're not going to do that. That's crystal clear. I mean, that's mathematically clear. So you go under the category of getting financially abused. That's just called business. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not, but if you believe you can buy a house with a mortgage, you're going to get abused. That's all. Your credit report is what tells the banks how you handle the business of you. It's a recording report of you. How do you treat yourself? Put it this way. So say like you and I walked into the bank at the same time. I'm 52. Let's say you're in your prime 30s, great credit, this and that. You got an 800 credit score or whatever, right? And you and I walk into the bank and we ask for a loan, and then they run each other's credit. They're going to know immediately that you do not own yourself. You're a debt slave. And when they run mine, they're going to know I own myself. Therefore, I understand how it works. Because step one, to understand how it works, You have to own yourself. My credit report says that proves, listen, that proves I know what I'm talking about. So that's why I do things that many people, I made a video. Just go through my video catalog and type in Credit Karma. I should make that the headline video when you guys, I am going to make that so you guys can see it. Where I log into my Credit Karma live for everybody to see. Now, when you see it, I want you to ask yourself, have I ever seen anybody, not only YouTube, on any other platform, log in live so we could see their personal credit report? Never. Never. Why is that? Because I'm proud. Listen, I'm proud to show you guys that I own myself. I don't care about the credit score. You care, the important pieces are inside the credit report. It's almost like a certificate of ownership in the USA. So your social security number, that is your number. That is your number. How you treat it is totally up to how you treat your own number is totally up to you. The banks, hey, listen, all I have to do to prove to any wealthy person, a bank, whatever, I'll keep a picture of my credit report in my back pocket. Here, look, this is my credit report, because first of all, nobody does that. And most people, you debt slaves, you guys don't know that. You guys don't know your credit report is an owner's ledger. I own mine, meaning I own myself, okay? But a credit report is an owner's ledger. It keeps track of all the businesses that own you. Sure does. That's crystal clear. But once you own yourself, you'll see how it works, and you'll see what this does that, and why it's there, and this. You really do, and you'd be like, oh, okay. I remember one time I was thinking that I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I was looking at like public defenders. I'm like, are most public defenders in student loan debt? Yep. Probably fucking Barry too. Working at the place they're working for because they want student loan forgiveness, working for the people that they're asking for student loan forgiveness from. Being overworked. Can you imagine getting it? Because I can only imagine lawyers who become public defenders working for the state or the city because they want student loan forgiveness, probably only earn about 30, 40,000, 50,000 a year, maybe. And you got hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. Public defenders, overworked public defenders buried in student loan debt, begging for fucking forgiveness. I was like, whoa, I did not see that. I did not see that. No, thank you. You better get on the right side of the system. That's all I got to say. You better hurry up. Because when you get on this side, you're like, oh shit, it was all a choice? Yep. All my fault. I blame no one. I blame no banks. I don't blame the Democrats or the Republicans or where I lived or what my daddy said to me when I was 5. It was all me. And then when you own yourself, you start looking at everything totally different. First of all, you put time first. Money's always second. And number one, time always stays there, never changes ever. Money is number two. Then you just start, it's crazy. You start looking at things that, hey, wait a minute, how many sperm actually happens, during sex for a woman to get pregnant? And then you find out it's like 2 million a milliliter of semen. It's like, what? 2 million. And then you realize, but I made it. I'm here. Those are like lottery numbers, right? And that's not even including, say like your dad, you have a dad, right? Of course, but your dad had sex before they had you. So not only did you make it past all that, you're here. So now if you realize, like I realize, I won the lottery, the Mega Millions. Those are the kind of odds you can relate it physically. I'm here. So what am I going to do with it? That's how I look at it now. It's like, oh, the odds of me even being here, born? I didn't know it was like that. Oh, wow. You start looking at things differently. Now, when you see how it all works and see how you guys respond, like when I watch, like when they talk about student loan debt and you see the rallies and the protests, you're like, man, you don't even know. You don't have to be in that. You could just pay your stuff off and leave. Oh man, I want to, because you just see, I hear you debt slaves talking about, hey, if I didn't have that student loan debt, I could buy me a house now. You know what they're saying? Get a mortgage instead. Transfer the money. It's like they forgive your student loan debt and then you give all the money that you're saving to the bank. No, that's a no. But if you did what it took to pay off your student loan debt, get jobs, work, start a business, I don't know, whatever, you do what it takes. Part of the process of owning yourself, you have to feel what it feels like to pay back what you borrowed. That is part of the process. The very thing that you guys fear, what it would take to pay off that student loan debt, that fear is trying to tell you something. Oh man, if I do that, I'll be too old. The houses will be too high for me to get in. I won't be able to have children. All that made up bullshit. It's all made up. None of it matters. It doesn't change the numbers. The only person that can change the numbers is you. And feeling what you borrow, paying back what you borrowed, you have to feel that. That's an important piece that ensures, listen, that will ensure that you will never make the same mistake again. That's the purpose of that. You won't make up in your mind, oh my God, my car broke down. I have to get a brand new car. No, you don't. No, you don't. No. You will know, like when I even think about sitting down at a car lot, picking out a car and signing some paperwork saying, I will pay you this amount of money for the next 84 months of my life. That sounds like financial suicide to me. That sounds like financial suicide. Okay, listen, 679. Okay, I'm gonna try to say this to you in the most mathematical way I can. Okay, everything I say is mathematically true. So when you say call you out on your BS, you're not really talking to me. You're talking to the calculator. You're saying, hey calculator, I'm calling you out on your BS. Now, when you say, listen, when you say stuff like this out loud, what you don't know what you're saying is that you're saying you're a debt slave because you don't understand, but you don't know that you're saying it. You don't know that. You don't know that you're a debt slave talking like that. And the way you talk, it sounds like you're going to be like that for the rest of your life. It sounds like you're going to be a debt slave because you don't even realize, look at all of the time in your life that you're so-called wasting on my channel. I mean, you've commented almost under every video. Do you know how much time there is no way. I don't even have that kind of time, nor would I want to waste my time doing that on somebody, quote, I don't like, you're BSing and this and that. All you gotta do is leave. You've been here for like 2 days now. Now, usually when somebody rambles on like you, they'll probably do it for a few hours. You're going on days. Now, if I was you, I'd be very concerned for myself. Like, why am I doing that? If I don't like this dude, why am I still here? I mean, you act like this is the only channel on YouTube. But I'm here to tell you why you're still here. You don't know why you're here. Okay, you don't know why you are here. Like me, if you have a page or something, I would never go to your page ever. I wouldn't go look and see what you did or nothing because I just read your words today. I know exactly what you are. You're a debt slave. So you don't really concern, but you're here because you're fascinated. You're trapped. How come nobody's saying more under these comments? He's so full of crap. He's not doing anything. How come more people are not saying anything? Because they're confused. They're just as confused as you. You're just being verbal about it. You don't know that you're saying things that don't make mathematical sense. But you've been following me for like 2 days, man. God. Now, usually I don't really respond to people like you, but I'm just like, he is still here. See my live, come into the live and still say so. It's like, wow. I just could not waste the time of my life doing that. I could, like, if I watch videos and I come across a video that a person is saying something that I don't agree with, I just leave. I don't have to say it to them. I just leave and never come back, or him or her. Probably is. Is that Mr. Guy? I know, probably is. Now I know there are more people that don't like me like this person here, right? But they're just not verbal about it. And that's okay too. You got to ask yourself too. If you're one of those people that do the same but just not verbal about it to me, you got to ask yourself, why do you keep coming back? You probably think to yourself, how come nobody has ever debunked one of his videos or proven him wrong or proven him a scam artist? Because nobody can do that with mathematics. That's why. Math cannot be debunked because you cannot debunk the fact. Okay? That's like saying, hey, somebody says, hey, 1 + 1 = 2. I'm going to find out. I'm going to debunk that. They're going to look at you like, you're going to debunk what? 1 + 1 = 2? More people would be like, okay, I'm curious. Where are you going to go start looking for your information? That's what the first thing I would, if I heard somebody say, hey, I'm going to debunk 1 + 1 = 2, I would say to myself, where are you going to start? I'm curious. Can I go with you? I'll pay you. I'll pay to go with you. What's up, Amazing? I'll pay you. Please, can I go with you? Because I want to see where you're going. I can only imagine how many people are in the background that follow me. That refuse. Listen, I only go by views. I don't really go by subscribers because I probably have a lot of people that don't like me and follow me, but they absolutely refuse to subscribe because I would know they're there. Like I go look, but I don't go look, but I just think it's hilarious. My views are going through the roof with these shorts. Oh my God, they're just getting, man. I'll throw a short out there. That thing will get 5,000 in a day. I'm like, damn. And you know what it is? This is what it is. Because I know debt slaves, you guys haven't heard. You guys have never heard a person talk like me. And listen, I'm not bragging when I'm saying that. That's facts. There is no other channel like SMD on the internet. If there is, go find it. If you're in the background, I need to see your face. Gotta see your face before I let you up. Gotta see your face. We don't do that no more. Gotta see your face. So you can't come up until I see your face. Anyway, it's just when you own yourself, your world is different. It's very different. You see the financial system for what it is. You see it for the mathematical fact it is. You see it for what it is. And when you fully understand that debt slaves are the currency, when you find that out, you're like, oh, because you got to remember, I don't pay attention to news like that. I pay attention to you guys. I pay attention to you. So when the president announced the $10,000 whatever, forgiveness, I just see how you guys respond to it, and I just go read because I pay attention to how you guys do it. What you're going to say? Are you really going to be happy about it? 10,000. I just watch you guys. 10,000 ain't enough. How am I supposed to live? Blah blah blah. You're supposed to live by paying it off. That's what you're supposed to do. Not finance cars and brand new phones. Do you think? Put it this way. Okay, here's another thing. You better believe Apple was very, very happy that student loan payment pause got pushed to 2023. You better believe Apple was absolutely, thank you, President, thank you. Because if he would have put them student loan payments back on, that would have, Apple sales would have went way down because you guys would have had no money to finance no phones. You guys don't even have money to buy them, okay? All right. You wouldn't have been financing phones because if you guys didn't finance phones, Apple wouldn't exist. But you better believe he was happy about that. Better believe it. Any questions? By the way, I always, every now and then I'll copy and paste a comment. Man, some of this stuff you debt slaves respond with to me, it's like, wow, you don't even know you're saying that. You don't even, do you know your friends could be looking? And you know what's so crazy? Even prejudice is still there. It's bananas that people still do it. It's just crazy. Sometimes I'll get some people that you guys probably don't see them because I just delete them and block the person, but they'll respond with a racist comment. I'm like, wow, you just, because I'm black? Wow. Okay, well, all right. See you later, buddy. Well, you won't see me no more. Guaranteed. But I understand. It's just when you own yourself, right? The wonderful thing about this is that we all have been given the ability of choice. That's the one thing, people say, oh, you're not controlling life. And yes, you are. You get to control. You are in, excuse me. You are in control of your choices. Here, let me put it this way for the young people out there committing crime, so you guys can understand this, okay? First of all, your order in life is wrong. You got money as number one, time is number two, because time is more valuable than money. Okay, because you can't get more of it. So that means it's the most valuable, right? It is. But when you are committing crimes, your order is wrong. Money's number one, time's number two, because you already know. Listen, you already know. Put it this way. Say like you're out there selling cocaine and you are about to do a $1,000 deal for some cocaine, right? The state where you live says, hey, if you get caught doing a cocaine deal with $1,000, you're going to get 15 years in prison. Okay. Knowing this before you do the crime, you know that you're going to get 15 years in prison. Now, at that moment, you have a choice. Am I willing to trade the time? This is what you don't know you're saying, okay? You got a choice. Am I willing to trade the time in my life for $1,000? Now, if you say, yes, it's worth it by going to do it, you made a choice. And you already knew if you get caught, this was the penalty. So you already know ahead of time. So you make a choice at that time. Now, you also got to think to yourself, how come I'm okay with doing that? Say like you are a drug dealer doing it in the process right now. Say like you're doing it. You already know if you get caught, you're trading time for money. You got to ask yourself, why am I doing that? Why am I trading something of more value for less? Why am I doing that? Because the state says, hey, if you get caught, now say like this, you get caught and you did the deal, you get caught, it was a sting, now you're going to get 15 years, right? And they gave you 10 $100 bills for the deal. They were all marked bills and blah, 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 right? So this is what you got to think to yourself. Okay, you're like, damn, I'm about to get 15 years for $1,000. Even there, you're not really doing that. You're not going to prison for 15 years for $1,000. You got to just go to the website and see how much they printed a $100 bill for. So if you had 10 $100 bills and they make them for 17 cents, you go 10 times 0.17. That's what you went to prison for. Now let's see. So I'm going to make sure I'm clear on this, okay? Because I like to say these things out loud. 10 times 0.17, $1.70. So you go now. Remember, you know all ahead of time before you actually do it. The state says this is going to happen if you do this. You go do it. You get caught. You get 15 years in prison. You in your mind, you're like, oh man, that was an undercover doing a $1,000 deal. No, they did a $1.70 deal because they printed each $100 bill for 17 cents. So you traded 15 years of your life for $1.70. Now you got to think to yourself, and when you're a debt slave, you don't really know to think like this because you don't know time is the most valuable thing on earth. That is the most valuable. So if you come across the state and the state has a law and the law says, hey, if you do this, we're going to take away the time in your life. We're going to take away X amount of the most valuable thing from you if you do this. Now, you can either say, okay, cool, I'm going to risk it anyway. Or you could say, well, why are they willing to take the most valuable thing from you if you do this? Because that's an important piece of the puzzle. Those are signs to tell you if they're going to take something of the most valuable from you, there's something there that you don't know or can't see or something. There's something there. That's why when you drive down the street and you break the law by going over the speed limit, they just hand you a ticket. Oh, what you're doing here? Yeah, this is equal to that. Yeah, money. Money for money. Okay, yeah, cool, whatever. But they say if you break this law, though, this one right here, yeah, we're taking time. We're taking that. You can stop and say, okay, wait a minute. Okay, why? Why do that? Like, for example, you go try to rob a bank because they got so-called money in the vault or whatever you think you've seen on movies, and you get caught and get 10 years. The reason why they take the time in your life because they don't want a bunch of other you guys doing that. They don't want you guys thinking, hey, let me, if Johnny did it too, I'm gonna try to, because if you just like, listen, if you went to rob a bank and you got caught and all you got was a ticket, how many people you think would be robbing banks? That's a thing that can't happen. That's why they're doing that. And the most crazy thing is that when you understand that the currency is you, and understand there's nothing in those vaults, there's nothing in there but you, copies of you guys, probably hard drives or something. I don't know what's in there. But I guarantee you this, if you're one of the people that are excited about this 10,000 and think it's going to, I have no idea what you're thinking in your brain it's going to do for you. I would love to talk to people like that. Hey, what is this 10,000 going to do for you? I'm curious. Because people with student loan debt, when I hear a person with student loan debt, that tells me that's not their only debt. Because if a person has had student loan debt for, say, 10 years, that means they had no money to buy anything in their life for 10 years. So that means, listen, that by default, that means everything you see in a person's life is financed because they had no money to buy it. Hence, student loan debt. If you have student loan debt, that means you have no money, because if you have money, you wouldn't have student loan debt. People that have money don't have student loan debt. So you guys, whoever you following on a YouTube channel or, maybe even in real life, turn to them and say, do you got student loan debt? If they tell you yes, that means everything you're seeing is a mathematical illusion. They're just like you. They're just deeper in debt. The people that you see, if they put it this way, if you know somebody that looks like they have more money than you, but you know for a fact that they have student loan debt, what you're seeing is they're just telling you, they're showing you that they're deeper in debt than you. So when you guys envy somebody with a brand new Cadillac Escalade or a drop top or whatever, and they have student loan debt, they're just telling you that they're deeper in debt than you are, because you guys are the same. You can't own anything while having student loan debt. That's impossible. You can't. You got to be honest with yourself and say to yourself, well, yeah, 10,000 is going to help, but when am I going to pay off the rest? Am I really going to, you got to ask yourself, am I really going to pay it off? Have I accepted that I'm just going to die with it? There's a lot of people that have accepted with dying with student loan debt. I'm talking millions of people, millions. That's all part of the business too. Like the people that are in the 10 to 25 year student loan forgiveness program, those are all the people that have given up. Because if you believe it takes 25 years of your life to pay off student loan debt, you have totally given up on your financial life. Totally. That's what that says. Hey, I put my student loan debt in there. I don't have to pay but $5 a month. Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the interest being accumulated. Do you guys know there are people that have to keep going to school because they can't afford their student loan payments? Because if you go to college, which is brilliant how they did that, if you go to school, you don't have to make student loan payments. That's absolutely brilliant. I don't know who came up with that, but that was absolutely. So now there are people that have to keep going to school because if they stop, their student loan debt payments will be due and they can't afford them. Those are usually the people that always brag. Now, remember, people that are buried. Listen, we talking $300,000-$400,000 in student loan debt, and they're making $30,000-$40,000 a year. But they love to brag about all these degrees they have. Do you guys know that don't mean anything? That means they're just buried in student loan debt. The degrees, if they're in student loan debt, all the degrees that they're telling you about, they don't own them. They haven't even paid for them. You know what they become? You know what unpaid student loan debt degrees that are in the nice frames, you know what they really become? Advertisements for the college they went to. So when somebody walks into somebody's office or building and they see these degrees on the wall, they're going to look and say, oh, wow, you went there? Yeah, I went there. Then you're going to probably think, man, I should go there. If you went there, you turned out this way, not knowing that they're just buried in student loan debt. That's whatever. The degrees mean nothing. They're spending like, people spending like $200-$300 on a frame to frame a degree that they don't even own it. That's a rented piece of paper, advertisement paper for the college inside that nicely pretty frame. Now when you're a debt slave and you walk into that, you think, oh wow, yeah, look at all those degrees. Ooh, I know they make money. Yeah, they probably make money, but they're just high paid debt slaves. They're college educated debt slaves. That's it. You want to go see somebody that this is how I'm gonna give you guys something to use to detect a person that look like they got money, but they're in student loan debt like you. You go to the person that looks like they have money, you say, hey, how do you feel about Biden for giving $2,000? Now, the person that has money, they probably turn to you and say, what? What is that? They probably look at you and say, $10,000 for what? To do what? They'll be confused because they don't have student loan debt. But if the person says, oh my God, I can't believe he should have forgave more. I cannot believe he only went up to 125,000 because debt slaves love to brag about the money they make. Because I make about 3-4 times that. And he cuts it off there. If you make 3-4 times the cutoff, how come you're not paying them off yourself? Because they're debt slaves like you. They just got more payments. Their payments are higher than yours. That's it. You guys all have payments. If they roll up on you in a nice car or truck and they're making payments, it doesn't matter who's driving the car. It's not their car. The difference is you know it and they don't. You think people who finance cars, you think they know that it's not their car? Of course not. They don't know that. If they knew that, they wouldn't have financed it. People that know don't finance cars. How are you supposed to get financially ahead if you're financing things that go down in value? Listen, how are you supposed to get financially ahead if you're financing things that go down in value at an interest rate at the same time? You guys are doing it at the same time. It's going down every time you drive it, or just sitting outside your place doing nothing, and you're paying interest on it at the same time. That's why money's positive and negative. It has to be, both of those things have to be together. That's the only way you're gonna make money. That's the only way you earn interest. You can't listen, debt slaves. I don't care who's telling you what. Okay. You can't earn interest on anything while having student loan debt. Okay. You can't. Now, the people that are telling you that you can are usually in debt like you. That's why they're saying it. In the meantime, they own nothing. Their house, car, property, properties that they try to impress you with. Hey, yeah, I got this properties over here. I got 5 over there, and I got renters in there, and I got all this cash flow. No, you don't. They don't have cash flow of nothing. All you got to do is somebody bragging to you about apartments or whatever. You say, do you got mortgages on those apartments? Yeah, they're not earning nothing until the bank gets back their money first. That's what the laws of mathematics say, not me. I'm not saying that. The laws of mathematics say that. You can't earn interest. You can't save money on taxes. You can't own a house. You can't own a car while having student loan debt. All you got to do is come to the conclusion of mathematical fact, and then you'll free yourself. Like when you're young adults, you don't know you should be having children while having student loan debt. You should not. If you have, listen, if you are a young adult with a child and your student loan debt is older than your kid, you should be embarrassed. And if you have your student loan debt and your kid is graduating high school and you still have your student, you should be embarrassed. That's a sign. And when you have children while being already in debt, debt slave, all that, man, you guys have no idea. You know, when you're young, you're like, there is no good time to have a kid. And this, yes, it is. When you own yourself, that's the perfect time. If you're of age and you own yourself and the person you're having a baby with owns themselves, that's a pretty good time right there. That's okay because everybody knows the rules. Put it this way. When you do what it takes to own yourself, and then you get lucky enough to find a partner who also owns themselves, you guys already know the rules. We don't get in debt. We don't go behind each other's back and open up credit cards and spend money. No, because that puts us in, both of us, into slavery, because the state says we are together. So when you guys, like if you're with somebody and they do that and they do financial things behind your back, do understand that you guys are together. The state doesn't care that they did it behind your back. You guys are one. When you own yourself, you don't get with people like that. So the percentage of you ever being in divorce court, or even if you decided to get a divorce court, child support court, the chances of you being in one of those situations is probably like 1% to 2% to be involved in any of that nonsense. Oh, the state's harder on the man than the woman. Debt slaves don't know they have an option. Don't be part of it. There's always one more choice that debt slaves don't know. Don't choose it. And say like you did get with somebody that you guys both own yourself and it didn't happen to work out. I guarantee it won't be due to infidelity. It won't be due to none of that. It just didn't work out. Guess what? You guys are going to go to lawyers together, just to make sure that get one lawyer. Hey, tell the lawyer, both of you guys would tell the lawyer, hey, write this paperwork up. We want it this way. And then you would just file it. There would be no fighting, because debt slaves would never go into debt and become a debt slave because they're angry at the spouse. Because when you guys do that, you guys are usually debt slaves already. And then, of course, you ain't got no money for no lawyers. You got student loan debt. Of course you don't. Then you're going to bury yourself. Lawyers are there to make money. They don't work for free. That's a business. Your emotions being involved is your problem. But if you own yourself, the likelihood of that happening would be like never. You would walk in and tell the lawyer what you want them to do. We need you to write this up. We're going to split this and that and blah, 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 and get it finalized. Done. Probably won't even need to see a judge. Who knows how that works? You won't be definitely when you own yourself. You definitely won't be out here talking about, hey, the woman's doing this to me, and man should go here and go out the country. How about yourself? What about you? Hold on for a second. All right, back. Your date, hey, listen, your relationship life, your dating life will be 100% different. You'll be looking at all these panels talking about dating and who you should date, who you should not date. You're gonna just look and laugh and be like, oh, those are just debt slaves dating each other. The majority of dating chaos that you guys see, that's just debt slaves doing shit to each other, living in that world. Women fool around on you, men do this. Debt slaves don't know. Just that happens only in that world. You're in a world that you're choosing to be. It's like this. It's like this. Say like there's a guy, he dates a woman, and he's messing around on the woman. He's like, I've got this good girl, but he's messing around. And then one day he finds out his girlfriend's fooling around, and then he gets mad at her. It's like, what are you getting mad at? You're already in that world. What do you expect? When you're doing that, you're already in that world, because when you're out of that world, that stuff doesn't happen. Because you don't date debt slaves. Like when you own yourself, you don't emotionally, financially, biologically tie yourself to a debt slave. You would never do that, ever. Hey, you got your driver's license? Oh no, man, because of this and that, and Johnny did this, and I'll see you later. Yeah, we can't date. No, we can't date because I ain't got a driver's license. Sure. Hey, you're 30 something years old. You ain't got a driver's license, and you lost it, and you don't know why, and it was because of somebody else, and it was their fault. See you later. I don't date debt slaves. Horrible with money. I couldn't even like you. Do you know how many people are married that have never, with children, that have never seen each other's personal credit reports? Do you know that? Somebody will have listen, you don't even realize what this means. People, because I did it, people will have a kid, will have a child with somebody that has never, ever seen their personal credit report, ever. Ever. Now, that sounds like financial suicide when I talk about it today. When I think about, like, when I was back then, when I was a debt slave, I would do that. I would get in relationships because of maybe the physical aspect, or because you look good or whatever. Never saying, "Hey, can I see your personal? Can I see your personal?" Until the woman I'm with today, I asked her that question. She was like, "Why is he? Oh, he sure is about this quick." Because luckily she wasn't in debt, right? So I wasn't hearing the normal debt slave talk, but I was like, "There's no way," because I haven't come across a woman that has been debt free yet. I had to just we finally got close enough so I could see her personal credit report. Then I was like, oh my gosh, she has nothing on it. Wow. Oh my God, I struck gold. Once you own yourself, there's a certain type of respect you have for yourself. There's a self-esteem that comes out that's never been there. If you're a person with low self-esteem, let me tell you something, okay? If you're a person with low self-esteem and you're in debt, I'm telling you, you come see me, I will change your life forever. Okay? If you're a person with low self-esteem, I will change your life forever. Forever. You probably think, well, how will you do that? Let me tell you. I'll tell you exactly how I would do it. Put it this way. Once you own yourself, you will never, ever, ever again care about the opinions of debt slaves. You won't care if they talk about you, what kind of car you drive. You won't care about if they say they look at your clothes and say you're not this, you're not wearing that, you don't have this, you don't have this kind of phone, your phone's old. That's all. You don't even hear them anymore. You don't even hear them. That's called noise. All that noise stops. You gotta adjust yourself to it. It's gonna take a minute. It's not instant, but it's gonna stop. And then the only people you will hear are people like me, people that encourage you, people that are here that want you to be the best. They want you to become multimillionaires, billionaires, wealthy, live whatever you want, what is considered, because true wealth. Listen, I want you guys to make sure you don't mix up rich and wealth. Wealth means you own the time in your life. You are wealthy. It has nothing to do with money. I mean, it comes when you reach that status, money comes. Because money is positive and negative. You got to attract money. You don't chase it. You got to attract it to you. And the first thing you do is by owning yourself, becoming positive. Once you own yourself and get to zero, you become positive. That's according to the laws of mathematics. I learned that in elementary school. That's where I learned that. Zeros in the middle, negative numbers on the left in red with a minus sign on it. Green numbers on the right means positive. Okay, cool. You have to become positive. Once you become positive, you have a different kind of energy. People are attracted to you. They don't know why. I know why, because I'm positive. I talk different. I mean, just look at what I do. I talk different. I have a channel like no other on the internet. Nothing. No channel. I back it up 100. Listen, I back it up 100% with mathematics. 100%. That means everything I talk about when it talks about personal finances and money, and that means I'm 100% right each and every time because math says so. Not because I'm bragging. I'm just saying because I always agree with math. And if math is always right, that means I'm right. Any questions? I guess that really, hey, get on camera. They disappear. It's like, oh, you was up to something nefarious. Okay, whatever. It's bananas. It's like debt slaves. I'm gonna just make sure you guys are clear about this. Okay. SMD will be worldwide. I want you guys to understand that clearly. First, everybody here will know it in the United States and then the world. That's how it works. I already see it. You guys are just getting an early broadcast of a man that's going to be known all over the world and invisible at the same time. You're thinking, what? What do you mean known all over the world and invisible at the same time? Yes, that's how it works. The majority of you will never ever see me, never hear me. That's by design because the majority of you must remain in the debt matrix. And the lovely thing about this system, it's all about your choice. You get to choose which side of it you want to be on. It's a choice. You choose to trust the calculator or you don't. You choose to trust the laws of mathematics when it comes to your money or you don't. When you understand this, you talk different, you associate with different people. I mean, you could, if any of you guys know for a fact, a millionaire or billionaire or somebody, and then you send them this video. They're gonna know immediately that I know. Immediately. I always tell this to you. Wait till like Warren Buffett. I'm just people that you guys know and worship. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. If this channel ever comes across their desk at all, they are going to know and they're going to contact me because we could work well together. Well, notice how I say work well together, not for them, well together. There's a big difference. You're probably thinking, LJ, how do you know all that? How do you know you're going to be talking? Because I can see that. I can see it. This is how, for you guys, for homework, right? This is all you have to do to know, to understand that I know what I'm talking about. And I know it's true because it's 100% mathematical fact. So I know it's true. Go try to find another channel like this one. Go find one. Go find somebody that does videos, that take the videos and then they comment on them and try to catch the person in lies. And find somebody to do that to one of my videos. It hasn't been done yet. I'm just here to tell you that there's nothing to find. That's why it hasn't been done and it never will be done. Because they would be exposing themselves to you. Because in order to expose me, they have to say things that are not mathematically true to you. Hence exposing them because they're telling you not mathematical truth. So if they say something like, hey, yeah, you can buy a house with it, like say like something, yeah, you can buy a house with a mortgage, and then you got to say that's not mathematically true. There's two things there. When you say that to somebody, just say to them, hey, can you buy a house with a mortgage? And count how many people say yes to you. Though it's not mathematically true. They don't listen. They don't know that they can't. That's why they're saying, and I'm gonna say this slowly so you can really get it. They don't know. By saying you can buy a house with a mortgage, what you're saying is that they don't know that it's not mathematically true. That's why they're saying yes. Because if they did know, they would have told you no. They would have said, no, a mortgage is called financing. Buying is when you have the money to buy it. Now, don't get me wrong. When you come across a channel like mine, it's very difficult to accept. You're trying to find a way to, no, what if this, you come up with these differences. And no, man, but what if I live in this area and the house appreciates and I got in at this time and I bought it back in 06 when it was 100,000. And then now I'm here at 2000. Now it's worth 400,000. You mean I don't have 300,000? No, because you didn't even have the money to buy it in 06. You can't own the equity and appreciation in the property that you didn't have the money to buy. And if you had student loan debts from 2000s, say like you had student loan debt in 2000s and you financed a house in 06, you didn't have the money to buy a house because you were nowhere near buying a house because you had student loan debt. Because the only way to buy a house is cash. And if you have student loan debt, that means you have no cash. Because if you had cash, you wouldn't have student loan debt. Now, for the younger people, so you guys listen, okay? What this knowledge is, it's just psychological. Okay? All right, so you understand. So say like this. As a young person, okay? Say like you have $100 bill in your hand. Open up the calculator app on your phone in the other hand and put in $100 minus your car payment, and then hit equal. Okay, so here is what I call a glitch in the debt matrix to tell you that you live in the debt matrix, okay? All right. So if you put in $100 minus your car payment, and say like we're together looking at your calculator right now, we both are looking at a negative number, okay? We both clearly see on the calculator that the calculator says negative, but then you look back at your hand and you're still holding a $100 bill. Now here's the glitch. And you have a choice. Which one do you believe at this moment? The calculator? Because the calculator says you don't have $100 in your hand. But you look with your eyes and you can physically touch it and smell it, but it says you have $100 in your hand. Which one do you believe? The calculator that's never wrong, or the $100? Now, if you choose the $100, that means you live in the debt matrix. Do you get it? There's a psychological part of all this that you don't know exists. Now that's the closest example I can really give to you guys to kind of give you. I can only use physical currency to show you something that's only psychological. You're probably still thinking, well, what do you mean, LJ? Okay, say like, let's go back to the first scenario again with the $100 bill minus your car payment. Say like we take out the $100 bill out of your hand, and then we put in $100 worth of gold. Okay. The calculator doesn't change. The calculator doesn't care about what's worth $100 in your hand. It's just telling you the answer is the same. Now you take out the $100. I mean, the $100 worth of gold, and then you imagine $100 worth of cryptocurrency. The calculator still doesn't care what you think you're holding, whatever. You take that out and put $100 worth of diamonds. Take that out and put $100 worth of silver. The calculator doesn't care. Do you understand? That's the psychological part. Debt slaves don't know that. That's what makes them the currency. You guys, if you believe you can buy a house with a mortgage, you're a debt slave. If you believe you can buy a car with a car loan, you're a debt slave. If you think the $10,000 worth of forgiveness is going to change your life, you are a debt slave. Why do I sound so harsh? Because actually, I want you guys free. I know there's only a certain amount. Listen, with this knowledge, I also understand that it must be this way and always be this way. As long as capitalism exists here in the United States of America, it has to be this way, period. I understand that. So also with this knowledge, I understand that none of this works without people, like human beings, us. Because out of all the species on Earth, we are the only ones that consume unnecessarily. We do. We don't do it for survival. You're not driving a drop-top Benz for survival. You're not driving a Ferrari so you can. You're not. I help people see it for what it really is. Become rich, wealthy, hey, whatever you want to do, be the best in your business. I strongly suggest if you're a young person and you're in the game of finance and your major is finance or something to do with personal money or whatever, you need to come see me ASAP, quickly. I will make you the best in your field, your profession, whatever. And your peers they will never have a clue of knowing how you're doing it. Won't even know. You'll thank me for the rest of your life, and you probably never find another person like me. Or well, no, let me take that back. That's ego. You will be part of the SMD family where there'll be hundreds of people like me. Getting a little ahead of myself. See, even then, I got to calm down Eagle. Eagle still pokes his head up every now and then. He does. It will change your life forever if you, especially young and then, oh man, 20s, 30s, ooh, just now starting your career, man. Now I want you guys to understand something too. People who are debt free, they still have jobs because they know, but debt free people don't look at jobs the same way debt slaves look at jobs. Okay. People who are debt free that have jobs, they are clear, 100% clear that the job is a tool to a means, period. People who are debt free will never let a tool own them. Okay. That's like letting a hammer own you. The hammer's your owner. The lawnmower is your owner. That's letting a tool own you. As soon as you're probably thinking, well, what do you mean a tool own me? As soon as you go finance a car, you go get a good job, and then you go finance a car. Now the tool owns you because you need the tool to pay your car payment. And then you go stack on a house, and then you go stack on a few credit cards, and then you go stack on some Parent Plus loans. Now the tool owns you. And when I was a debt slave, let me tell you guys this too. It's hindsight is 2020. When I was a debt slave, I used to always imagine my job as a tree with a whole bunch of branches. I kid you not. This used to come in my brain all the time. I imagine my job as the trunk of a tree. And all the branches that extended up was all my everything attached, my mortgage, car payments, credit cards, student loan payments, all these payments. And I said to myself, if my trunk gets chopped, my whole world falls. I used to say that to myself, and it was true. I didn't know, which is the craziest thing. I didn't know that my job, the tool, owned me. I didn't know that. But you do kind of know, this is how you know when your tool owns you as a debt slave, because I'm sure nobody's ever told it to you like this, right? If you are at work and you will allow your manager or your boss to talk to you disrespectfully, that means the tool owns you. Because you guys are both adults. Why are they talking to you like you're a child, like their child? If you are at work and you're doing your job and you know you do your job good and the big bosses come in and you get nervous, that means the tool owns you. It doesn't matter if the big bosses come in. If you're good at what you do, you just continue on doing what you do. You don't have to look and sound a certain way. You just, hey, they're there. Hey, so-and-so's in town. So what? Why are you telling me? I don't care. He's coming in the building and so-and-so. So what? People who are debt-free, they don't allow, first of all, let's make sure this is clear. People who are debt-free with jobs, they work where they choose to work. They don't work where they have to work. That's number one. Number two, people that are debt-free with jobs don't allow managers or bosses to disrespect them. They would warn them, hey, because you got to remember, when you got bosses or people like that do that to their employees, they're doing that because they know the employees are debt slaves. They know that obviously because they're talking to them disrespectfully at work. Because only debt slaves allow that. Okay. Because if I had a job right now and I had a boss that said something inappropriate at work, like I'm a child, I would warn them first. I would say, hey, let's talk over here for a second. Don't talk to me like that. That's what would happen. Yeah, don't do that. Oh, what are you going to do? I'm going to quit. What do you mean what am I going to do? You think I'm going to fight you? No, I'm going to quit. Especially if you're good at what you do, that will hurt the company. Say like you have a job and you're one of the best at the job. And say like this. It's say like this is the worst, okay? This is a lot of people feel like this. Say like you are really good at your job, but you're not getting paid what you think you should be getting paid. Now, many of you guys would throw that feeling to the side and think nothing of it. And I know nobody's ever told you this before, okay? Like the way I'm going to tell you. If you feel that you are so good at your job, you deserve more money, you know why you're feeling like that? Like that? Because it's true. The only thing holding you back is because you're in debt. So you're accepting the amount of money that you already know you're worth more for. You already know you should be getting paid more, but you can't go anywhere because you are in debt. If you didn't have no debt and you still had and you had that exact same feeling, I feel like I should be getting paid because I'm really good at what I do, you would leave and go find a company that would pay you what you're worth. I guarantee you, look, okay, this is all you got. Look at Apple. I guarantee you they have no problem hiring talent and paying them what they're worth. That's why they're successful. Guarantee you Apple has people like me up in the rafters or up in the suites. Can you imagine if you had a team of people, debt-free people working for you because they want to work for you? Your business would explode. Profits out there, profits every year. What'd you say, Malika? Oh my, you are telling the truth. When the higher ups come in the building, the other people be so scared. I continue to do what I was doing, which is my origami or watching YouTube. See what I'm saying? You don't. I remember like when I was in Seattle, and I used to work for a company called Alaska Airlines. All right, and back then they had signed the quarterback for Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot his name already. That is crazy. But anyway, he would come into town and come to the hangars. Hey, so and so's gonna be down at the hangar. You gonna come? No, I don't want to. No, he's only there because Alaska's paying him. Okay, that's just what I was thinking in my mind. I didn't tell other employees that. I just said to myself, I'm not go. He's only there because they're paying him to be there, to encourage us to work. And don't get me wrong, I get it. I totally get it. Understand why they do it. There's nothing wrong with it. Whatever. But for me, as a debt-free person having a job, I just didn't care about stuff like that. I was here to do a job and leave. Russell Wilson, thank you. And you know, so crazy too. I remember one time they was doing they was about to do a commercial, right? And I didn't know it was an internal email saying, "Hey, we need some people to do a commercial with Russell Wilson," right? People, now I didn't really pay attention to those emails and I just ignored them. So people around in my office would say, hey, LJ, man, you should try out for this commercial, man. What they're about to do with Russell Wilson, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, man, you'll be good at it. And I was like, okay, you know, you got to listen to people around you because people around you, if they say stuff like that, they can see something that you probably do or do not see. Okay. Anyway, I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna do it. Called them up. They asked me to something. And anyway, I got in there. And then when we get there, this was an all day thing, all day. I didn't realize this is my first time ever being in a commercial, right? It was all day. And you guys really don't understand. When you're debt free, your time is very, very valuable. Okay, very. But we had 3 different setups. And the first 2, because since I didn't understand commercials, I didn't know where to sit, how to act, or whatever, right? But we was there for a long time. I said to myself, and I made this up in my mind when we were out there. I said, all right, if I'm gonna be out here all day, I'm gonna make sure I'm in one of these commercials. Okay. So we got to the last setup for the commercial, right? And I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna wait, see what this setup is, and then I'm gonna sit right in the center, right in front of the cameras or whatever, right? And then I did that, and then I did something. I acted real good. I imagined something, and then I did something. Then the day was over, and then we left, right? So I'm walking down at work one day, about a month or 2 later, month and a half later, right? Because it takes them a long time to do all the editing and all this other stuff. I didn't really think about the commercial again after I did it. I was like, okay, cool, that was fun, whatever, right? Because when I was there, I got to actually talk to them, and I'm not a sports fan. I don't watch sports, but I knew who he was, of course, but I'm talking to him and people are like, oh my God, man, you actually talked to him. And I didn't really realize this, okay? And I didn't really realize this after the fact. How many people would never get a chance to sit next to Russell Wilson and just talk to him like a normal dude, right? I didn't really think about it like that, or actually be in a commercial with him. But anyway, I acted so good that I was in a large portion of the commercial. Okay. And when I was walking in the hallways at work, one of the CEOs, of course, they see the commercials first before the public. And he said, hey, LJ. I was like, hey, how you doing? So. And he's like, yeah. He said, I saw you did the commercial with Russell Wilson. He's like, I was like, yeah. I said, and I turned to him just like this. I said, oh, so you could see me? Because it was a 30-second commercial. And then he turned to me and said, oh, yeah, we can see you. I was like, what? Like that? He was like that. He was like, basically, it's Russell, you, and the guy in the back with the drums or whatever, right? Then I finally got to watch it. I didn't tell none of my friends, right? So I think they aired it at one of the games in the stadium in Seattle, right? I got so many phone calls. Ew, man, you didn't tell me you did a commercial with Russell Wilson. I was like, because I didn't really think it was a big deal, because they gave me this little check, for being there. I was like, all day for this? No, man, I ain't doing this. I said to myself, I ain't doing this again. No, the trade was not really good for me. I didn't really like that. That was an all day thing, and I got 200-300 minus taxes. I just didn't like that. Because I know for a fact, I'm thinking in my mind, oh man, I can only imagine how much. I'm looking at Russell. I'm like, I can only imagine how much they're paying you to be here. Oh my God. I was like, good for you, young man. Good for you. But if you haven't seen it, I think it's on my, I believe it's on my thing. I believe maybe it's in the members only area. I got to check. I think it's in the members only area. I don't know if you could probably type it in YouTube. You might find it. I don't know. But it was a good experience, right? It was a really good experience, man. But it was more, people were just fascinated that I actually met him. And then it took me a minute to realize that, how many people that were fans of his that would have loved to actually talk to him. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got to think about, right? True sports fans, like, oh my God, you got to actually say something to him or whatever. Yeah, I wasn't a person. Hey, let me get an autograph. I've never been a person like that. It's like, what good is the autograph? I don't get it, right? Sign the ball. Okay, whatever. Okay. But I get it. It's business. Any questions? Man. Well, if you're new via my shorts, I appreciate you guys showing up. I do. I really do. When I get things set up the way I want to at my home, I'll get back on camera. Right now, I just got to get things set up right the way I want it, because I want to start standing when I talk. So I want to get it set up to where I can stand and be on the mic and have plenty of light and all that good stuff. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Share. Let me give you my email. If you're listening in the car and you want a consultation, go to SavingsMinusDebt.com. Schedule a consultation. My Gmail is SavingsMinusDebt@gmail.com. My Cash App is SavingsMinusDebt. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the show. Much appreciated. He said he probably impressed with you because you weren't probably kissing his ass. But yeah, no, you're right. I agree. I can only imagine, Russell, how many people are in his face trying to pretend to be his friend because he's Russell Wilson, right? I'm sure like famous people, and even famous people will know that I'm different. I promise you, because can you imagine that they have to look at everybody that comes in their life that they don't know very differently. Hell, probably even their own family. Hey, cuz, it's me, so-and-so from, that you never had a relationship with, but they are your real cousin. So some of them think that they should get something or go somewhere with you. Who knows, But that's exactly right, though, Dave R. I wasn't, and saying even like I wasn't kissing his ass or whatever. It was like I wasn't even trying to do anything. I was just talking to him like a normal dude. And even when we was there, which was kind of cool, we were there doing the commercial, and he he called up his wife on the phone with the FaceTime. And he was like, "Oh, she's in Italy doing a shoot or something," he was saying. And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And she waved at all of us. "Hey, everybody." I was like, "Okay, that's cool. You know, that's pretty cool." He said, "Say hi to everybody." I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "That's pretty cool." Came home, told my girlfriend. That was okay. Sierra. Yeah, he's married to Sierra. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining today. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Until next time. Later.